Hello fellow stackers, 365 here, welcome back to my channel. So just a quick update video on this cash that I drew from the bank. Now, I feel like I'm being backed into a bit of a corner really, and I'm almost being forced to pay this back into the bank. Now, I'll tell you a story that happened to me today, and it also happened to a friend of mine last week. Now, on my lunch break, I went out to get some lunch. Now, because I have cash on me, I decided to start using some cash because, like I said before in some previous videos, it is a lot harder to spend cash. If you have a debit card or you use Apple Pay or a credit card or something like this, it's a lot easier to freely spend it. If you go into a shop to buy some food, you're a lot more likely to buy more items because you're not actually parting with something physical. You're just touching your phone or your credit card or your debit card onto the machine, and you paid for it. So it's a lot more easier to do. It's not as much emotion involved in paying digitally. Now, when you spend using cash, there's a lot more emotion involved because you're actually giving away something physical. It makes you think before you spend. If you're about to buy something in a shop and it's £11, for example, and you have £20, you're more likely to put that packet of chewing gum back or that packet of crisps back to make it under £10 because you don't want to break into another £10 note. So you've got lots of coins and lots of change back, and also you just don't want to break into another note. So if you go to the counter and they say it's £11, you're more likely to go, oh, I'll put that chewing gum back, and just give them £10, as opposed to going, okay, yeah, here's £20, and then breaking into another note just for the sake of spending an extra pound. So I always prefer to spend cash. Whenever I go shopping for clothes or anything really, if I'm going to buy anything, I do always prefer to take cash because it is a lot easier to be more careful with it and not just and spend money. So anyway, I started using some of this cash. I thought I'll start using some of this cash for if I go for meals, if I go for meals out, if I go to the pub, if I go to the shop. And I thought that way overall I'm going to be spending less money because, like I said, it's a lot harder to part with this stuff. So I went out for my lunch break, and I'm not going to name the actual companies, but they're very, very large kind of franchise companies, if you like. And I don't like to actually target and name companies on this channel because it's the way that everyone's being forced to kind of go. So it's not necessarily that company's decision, it's just the way that the government and the Bank of England and all the kind of hierarchies are pushing businesses to go. They're making it a lot harder for businesses to accept cash. So it's nothing personal. I don't want to personally call out companies as such, but I went into one place and I went to order my food, and I saw a sign on the counter before I'd ordered saying we do not accept cash. So before I ordered anything, I went and spoke to the person at the checkout, and I said to them, "I've only got cash on me. What's the reason for not accepting cash? Is the card machine broken, or what's the reason?" They said, "Oh no, we've just gone cashless now." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Just this branch, just this store, or as the whole company kind of going cashless?" And he said, well, the whole initiative by the end of this year is for the whole company to go cashless in all of their stores, but at the moment it's being trialed, and I think he said 8 stores across the UK, they're trialing it. So they're trialing this thing where they're just not taking any cash to see how it goes. Now, I had to obviously walk out of that shop because I only had cash on me. So I couldn't get any food in that place. Then I went to another place. And again, these aren't kind of little kind of family run restaurants or family run businesses. These are actually franchise. And I really do want to say the name, but like I said, I don't really want to call out particular companies as such. But I went into a company, and this is more of a kind of fast food restaurant, if you like. And they said exactly the same thing to me. I asked before I ordered, just in case, after my last experience, I didn't want to order, and then they said they only take card. So I asked first, I said, "Do you take cash?" And they said, "No, we're no longer accepting cash." Now, these were 2 restaurants slash fast food places where you can buy lunch or dinner. And it happened to me one after the other. So in the end, I had to go to a smaller shop that accepted cash, and I had to get my lunch from there. So eventually, obviously, I paid using cash. I did find somewhere that accepted cash. Now, I was speaking to my friend, and he said that exactly the same thing happened to him a couple of weeks ago. Now, he said he went to 3 different places and he only had cash. He didn't have any card on him, and he went to 3 different places and nobody was accepting cash. Now, I wanted to kind of put it out there to let me know in the comment section, have you experienced this? I know that some pubs have started going to cashless. I've been to pubs before in the past and I've walked in to buy a drink, and before I've ordered, I've gone to the bar and they said, just to let you know that we only take card payments here, we don't accept cash anymore. And I have actually walked out of some pubs in the past due to only carrying cash, because like I said, when I go out, I most often just take cash with me. I have started taking a card with me now as a backup, just because it seems to be happening more and more. You seem to be able to more and more not be able to just buy normal things. I went to the train station the other day, for example, and the actual counter there is closed. So before, I'd walk up and buy a train ticket and say, I want to go to London, return or whatever, and here's my money. Whereas now there's only a machine that you use, and the machine doesn't take cash. So you have to put your card into this machine just to get a train ticket to go to London. So I'm being forced, if you like, to carry around a card because it's getting more and more inconvenient for me to use this stuff. So back to kind of the first sentence that I said when I first started this video, I feel like I'm being backed into a corner and I'm being forced to pay this back into the bank because nobody wants to take this off my hands anymore. I can't even buy a train ticket. I can't buy a sandwich. I can't buy a burger. I can't buy any lunch with this stuff. And I don't think that is because the companies themselves are actually just turning around and going, oh, we don't want cash. I think it's because of how difficult the banks are making it to receive cash. Now, I've seen many videos here on YouTube where people are saying that they have to stop their coin hunts now. And the Stat Collector was one of them fairly recently that said that he's got a 50p hunt that's coming up in the next couple of days. He's going to do a live because it's kind of like a special coin hunt because it might be his last one, because he's gone into the bank and they're no longer letting you draw out these bags of coins. And as you've seen from the series that I did when I was trying to get this cash out in the first place, it took me 10 days in total to get hold of this cash. And a lot of my banks were saying I couldn't physically get cash from the counter in this sort of size. So, yeah, like I said, I don't think it's the actual companies themselves that are saying, oh, we just don't want to take any cash anymore. They're also being backed into a corner because they are being charged to withdraw cash. So if companies go into certain banks, they're being told that you can't withdraw cash unless you pay a fee. So obviously they can't accept cash, they can't withdraw cash because they need to obviously have change in their tills to be able to give change back. When people pay with a tenner, they need a few 50p's or pounds or whatever it may be. And if they're getting charged to take money out the bank in terms of like bags of coins and things, it doesn't make sense for them to accept cash because it's costing them up front in the first place. And also, a lot of banks are charging their business customers to pay in money to the bank. So if you go into the bank and you're trying to pay in a large amount, you're trying to pay in kind of a week's wages or whatever, or a week's income, if you like, from your store, a lot of business banks are saying that they're going to charge a fee for you to pay your own money into them. So you can see why a lot of businesses and companies are saying that we're not taking cash, because they're getting charged to draw out their own cash and they're getting charged to pay in their own cash. So they're kind of in the situation where it forces them to use cards. So, yeah, let me know what you think about this. It's really, really interesting to think that nobody really wants this stuff anymore. Like I said, I went into 2 separate shops and no one wanted to take my hard-earned physical fiat currency for a sandwich. And my friend went into 3 different places a couple of weeks ago and he had the same issues. So let me know if you're experiencing this. Especially I'd like to hear from people in different countries, because I've spoken to a few people here in the UK and I've seen it myself. Like I said, when you go into pubs, you see that a lot of them are not taking cards now. When you go to the train station, there's no one there, so you have to use the machine that only takes card. And there's all these different procedures and things going in place where it makes it impossible to get rid of this stuff. So I would definitely be interested to hear from those of you that live in different countries. Is your country making it the same as here in the UK? Are they making it very, very difficult to get rid of fiat currency? And like I said, I'm backed into a bit of a corner. I feel like I'm almost being forced to go to the bank and give them back this money, because it's a lot more convenient and easier for me to be spending with a card because places aren't taking cash anymore. So it's a really strange situation that we're in, and I think it all boils down to the way that the government are trying to push CBDCs upon us. They want to make it as hard as possible for people to spend this stuff, and therefore people welcome the app when it comes out. I know in the US they brought out FedNow, which I think is their kind of platform ready for when CBDCs are released. They're getting people using FedNow to get used to spending money on it quickly, and it will only be a matter of time before they start introducing CBDCs to the app, and then they start kind of withdrawing the cash side of it. So yeah, it's a really strange time that we're going through. When my children are old enough to start earning money, I don't think they're going to ever see this stuff. I just think that it's going to be completely switched over to CBDCs by then. It's all going to be digitalized. The government are going to have full control over where you spend your money, what you're spending your money on. Your privacy will be gone. You will no longer be able to just buy something from the local coin shop, get some precious metals with cash. There's some cash, thanks to precious metals. That's in my stack. Nobody knows about that. It's all going to be digitalized. It's all going to be tracked. It's all going to be traced. When you pass away in the future, you can't just go to your children, there we go, that's your inheritance. The government will go, hang on a minute, you've been spending X amount over the last few years on precious metals. This is how much inheritance tax you have to pay. Where is all this gold and silver gone? Or we're now going to start going back to the gold standard because the CBDCs are failing. Now you need to start handing in your gold. I haven't got any gold. Yes, you have, because we've been tracking your spending using CBDCs for the last 2 years, and you spent X amount on gold. So you need to hand that amount back in to us now, or prove that you've sold it and haven't got it anymore. So yeah, that's a different topic for a different video. But yeah, the main point of this is just to say that I'm going to have to end up paying this back into my bank. I've only just got hold of this, but I can't get rid of it. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. Are lots of companies and businesses in your countries starting to refuse cash? As always, thanks for all the support, and thanks very much for watching my videos, and I hope you all have a very nice day.